What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 16th of October 2025. This video will be huge. I've said that many times with many videos, but this video will be huge. This is actually titled The Problem with Teeth Braces. Dental braces. What they are, if you don't know, is they'll take a wire, this is often how they do it, and place it on the front of the teeth, one on the lower teeth and one on the upper teeth, and this wire is shaped like a U, like this. It's shaped the way that they want the bite of your teeth to be shaped, and then what they'll do is place little metal brackets on the exterior of each teeth or each tooth, and then this wire connects to those brackets, and it's pretty flexible, the wire, but it's stiff enough to where it will cause your teeth to start to move into the position of that U shape of the wire, and then they get your teeth to be in this nice U shape, you know, a centered looking and evenly sitting together teeth bite. I personally had braces when I was around 15. I was 16 years old when I got them off. I had them for about 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. And that's what it does, is it takes a couple years, you know, slowly over time, that wire, even though it's very thin and pretty flexible, it takes time and slowly moves the teeth into this position of that U shape of the wire. Just that nice rounding that we want our teeth to be in if we want our teeth to mesh together. But I'll get into it and I'll talk about it, you know, in the Image Clothing Company style, as it is, blunt, bold, raw, and real. It's noisy, I get it. But it's about the information, it's about the documentation of the time period, saying the same things since the founding, time and dates. I'm in this for life, right? Evan Strong as the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. So we'll talk about it. If you can hear me, you can hear me. If not, you can. I know you can, at least to a degree. So, yeah. There are problems with this, and we'll get into it. We'll get into why. I mean, it sounds like a good thing, you know, and I personally had braces, but there's actually been a lot of complications that I know out of personal experience that have come, and then just me being the founder of In the Image Clothing Company, allowing the body to work is our key slogan here on our main side. Yeah, I can see patternings in people and their body mechanics, you know, and the workings of what we call their posture, but just, you know, their body's, ability to either work or not, and chronic patternings and scar tissue and where these things are coming from, right? I have an eye for this. I understand the body compensation that's trying to happen, discrepancies where they are, and so I'll really discuss this, but I'll do it as I do. Talk about each of the four sides of In the Image Clothing Company. I'll talk about where clothing sits, and then we'll get into the discussion on these teeth braces, these dental braces, and just dental work. We'll touch on, you know, just in general as well. It's something we talk about. We talk about the jaw often. So let's get into it. The main side of In the Image Clothing Company, we allow the body to work. Like I said, the human body is just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. There's a center line. The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw. The jaw naturally stabilizing the entire body, not only just the head, but the whole body has to stay in the center to do so, to stabilize the body on Earth's center of gravity. Okay? Earth has a center of gravity it pulls down on everything with. We have to mesh the body's center and Earth's center together. Okay, gravity-wise. A lot of what we do is just about gravity when it comes to being a human being. We talk about everything: standing, sitting, walking, eating, breathing, sleeping, hydration, just being a human being in all the ways that we are in a modern, man-made 2025 and going forth. And, you know, the jaw, there's musculature coming from the lower jawbone up between the eyes and ears to the crown of the head. Okay, you can see the musculature flexing all the way up into here when I close my teeth together. See that? So the jaw is huge, and dental work, braces specifically, really goes straight to the jaw. And it's positioning. So this is huge. This is really huge. We'll get into it, okay? But musculature in the body only contracts. The muscles connect from the outside of the shoulder to the center in the front at the sternum on both sides. And then musculature connects from the outside of the shoulder to the spine in the center on the rear of the body on both sides. There's a neutral to everything. Every joint in the human body has to reside in its neutral position, like the wrist here that I can show easily on camera. Straight out from the outside of that forearm, down and out the pinky finger is the neutral wrist. And then there's just motion outside of there. There's internal and external rotation to the body, in the hands to the elbows through the forearms, and then the hands to the shoulder, all as one, internal and external from a neutral. Same with the feet up to the knees in those lower legs, internal and external rotation. And then the feet up to the hips, internal and external rotation, the entire leg as a whole. So you can't stretch the body and benefit from it. You can't train the body at all. There's only a neutral, okay? You can't train the body to have posture is what I mean. It's just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space. Everything has to just reside where it works, and there you go, okay? So we allow the body to work by keeping clothing centered, fitting correct, where I'll discuss here in a minute, and being made from 100% natural materials. The human body's only natural. We live in an unnatural, modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth, and it's right-handed. We live in this right-handed world where clothing patterns themselves are right-handed to a degree. 85%, give or take, of human beings are right-hand dominant, and so with gravity, clothing will fall off to our right side. Our bodies will go more external with the rotation on the right side. They'll be more dropped and then farther away from the body's center line. And then we get into these chronic patternings because musculature only contracts and our bodies are being pulled off to our right, okay? Stretch in clothing is one of those things that's new, just decades old as of today's date, and it's damaging the body severely because it goes the opposite direction of the only way muscles could ever work. Every muscle in the body only shortens to work. It only contracts, okay? And so stretching the body's damaging for that reason, but also just you stretch too far outside of one side of the neutral, and then you've gone too far away from the other side of the neutral of every motion in the body. There's just a neutral position. So we just have to reside in our neutrals, and then the body has all of its ranges of motion. Okay? That's why you can only allow the body to work. There's no possible way to train it. There's only ranges of motion that it's given. There's only rotations that it has. There's only a neutral position, and it just has to be there, okay? Clothing's the only fix. The only thing placed physically on our bodies, how could it not be the only thing that could be the actual root cause to the damage that's coming to our bodies physically, right? But we don't know what we don't know. You can't be held accountable for what you don't know. What I didn't know is how damaging braces were for the body, teeth braces, and we'll get into it, okay? But there you go. InTheImageClothingCompany.com. We will always have good clothing, staying centered, fitting correct, being made from 100% natural materials, allowing the body to work. Unnatural materials, they seep into the skin of the body as well. Even if the clothing's centered, and let's say there was no stretch in these unnatural material made clothing items, it still seeps into your pores, the holes in your skin, and really alters and affects the body from the inside out. Okay, like a topical cream, like dewormers for animals, just placed on the surface of the body, it goes inside, okay? So we do a lot of things, but really what we do is get out of these chronic patternings and scar tissue that get built up from all the things we talked about, the right-handed world, clothing, patterns, oversized clothing, imbalanced clothing, ropes introduced to the body, shoelaces and drawstrings potentially just rotating the entire body. Yeah. Okay, decades maybe, almost an entire lifetime maybe. You've been doing these things, and we can get out of these patternings. They're reversible, but we have to know how and what to do to allow the body to work And then that's where we come in the Image Clothing Company, just giving truth on the anatomy of the human body. And that's a lot of what we do as well, is just discuss the anatomy of the body itself, apart from clothing. Even if we never wore clothing, just how does our body work? You know, what does part of the body do, and where's the neutrals? I mean, that's the thing, is in order to reside in your neutral positions, you have to know where they are in your body. And if you don't know, then you don't know. So there you go. Okay. Another one of our fourths is in the Image Clothing Company poodles. It's cold. For sake of reference, it's like 52-ish degrees Fahrenheit out here. It's pretty chilly, but I wanted to be in just a t-shirt for this, to show what I'm showing here. Yeah, a little bit chilly. In the Image Clothing Company poodles, we specialize in purebred standard poodles. We breed them, registering them properly under the American Kennel Club. We advocate for being a good owner of dogs, how to, registering dogs, planned litters, purebred dogs, keeping less dogs in shelters and more dogs at homes. Really what we do is let dogs stay natural, which is the same thing as allowing the body to work, just phrased differently because it's an entire separate fourth of our company, even though it's encapsulated with all of what we are as a whole under all four sides of the Image Clothing Company. But the state of Utah, the United States of America, is where we are based. As in the Image Clothing Company, we will always have awesome events. Poodle parade events is what we call them. Bring your poodles, purebred of any size, or mixed poodles of any size. We've got mountains, we've got parks, lakes, cool places to hang out, rivers, and a lot of it will just be fun. Just hangouts with the dogs. I call them family reunion type things. And I'll give information where I do on letting dogs stay natural, and it'll just be cool. Okay, always a huge name in poodles because we do a lot for poodles. We give a lot of information that applies to all dogs. Grooming and interacting with our dogs as owners, like holding leashes naturally so our bodies don't get altered. We talk about the sizing of dogs, why we specifically specialize in standard size purebred poodles, which are the big dogs. For the health of our bodies as the owner, we don't have to get down so low to get to the height of like a toy sized poodle when I'm 6 foot 2 inches tall, for example. You know, a large dog at waist height for me is just, you know, a lot more natural. So there's a lot we talk about. And collars, leashes, harnesses, things placed onto dogs that need to stay centered, because, well, I'm going to discuss this a lot in this video for the sake of the teeth, the jaw, and braces. Keeping collars centered, a video we have under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here, but also just a must because all of this, look at this. Musculature and tendons going through the collars of our top and our neck. Everything opposes the center line, and if our collars aren't as centered as we can get them, our bodies are damaged. And so dog collars, like the video I made yesterday at the South Utah Valley Animal Shelter with this cool standard size mixed poodle who shouldn't be there because he's a really good dog, but he just ended up there. Pretty sure he was just a stray, right? Just got out. Which is, you know, we advocate for those things as well, like microchipping dogs, and really just, that's what I mean by keeping less dogs in shelters and more dogs at homes. You know, we give information on stuff you might not otherwise know on how to, you know, better ensure that we can keep dogs at homes. But the importance of intentional collars is a video I made yesterday there at the shelter on In the Image Clothing Company poodles. So dog collars are usually much more imbalanced than human being collars, and we talk about the little things like this dreaded collar seam. In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification is one of our free modifications. We give a lot of free modifications in clothing because you never have to purchase In the Image Clothing Company to allow your body to work. When I say In the Image Clothing Company, products, human being clothing, dog products, collars, leashes, harnesses, and similar things, they will always be great, but it's not just, you know, our intention to have people have to purchase our clothing by any means. You know, I mean, I haven't worn anything up until today's date, over a year into In the Image Clothing Company as the founder, that I could call In the Image Clothing Company clothing. But I've modified all the clothing in the ways that I've needed to allow my body to work. Okay, so we give a lot of free modifications. And that's one of the biggest things with dogs, is the things placed on them as well as us as human beings. But then feeding for dogs, hydration for dogs, slippery flat flooring, very unnatural for dogs. There's a lot we discuss, okay? So stick around for the poodles. It's about health of dogs, and it's about longevity of dogs, and that's really what it means to let dogs stay natural, okay? So another fourth of us in the Image Clothing Company podcast, we have deep discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are on episode 169 of In the Image Clothing Company podcast as of last night. We just talk about life as it is, We don't have to be religious, but we're all human beings. We're all placed on the same earth, designed by one God in the image of Jesus Christ, right? In the Image Clothing Company. Three of our 5-word name as a whole. We're designed by God, and that's how we allow the body to work. That's how we let dogs stay natural, is we didn't design these things. We didn't design it, we can't decide it. That's actually an episode title of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. And we just give deep insights on life. Another fourth of us is In the Image Clothing Company music. A lot of what I do is show the sizing and setup of guitar to not alter things like the neutral wrist, the rounding to our hands. We talk about, in all aspects of life, just the importance of fingernails and toenails, all the way fully to the tip of the fingers and toes to support them. Cut relatively flat. You can round the corners, but we want to stay in this neutral wrist position rather than having rounded fingernails where we're just rolling out of the neutral wrist and it's affecting our whole body, okay? So I make music, place it on In the Image Clothing Company music. I do a lot of lyricism, rhythm and poetry, spoken word type rap, okay? Metronome madness is one of the things where I freestyle lyricism, and we're on episode 32 as of yesterday of Metronome Madness. So yeah, a lot of cool things. Singing, guitar, informational stuff, tutorials, setups. There you go, okay? A lot of cool things geared around the gospel of Jesus Christ with the messages and the music. Just, real true messages in what we do. On all the sides and in all aspects of In the Image Clothing Company. I mean, that's our point, is to speak on things that last forever. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, so we try to do things that are eternal here. That's the point of doing anything, ever, at all. That's the only way it actually matters, okay? Yikes. We're imperfect human beings, serving a perfect God. So, clothing for everybody has to sit in the same location. If you're a man or a woman, tall or short, skinny or fat, any age or from any part of the earth, any time period to ever be, you are just a human being, and your clothing has to sit in the same location. Our pants have to be entirely above our hips, but below our lowest ribs. That's what's called our natural waist, where we actually bend side to side at our spine, okay? With our pants above our hips, there at the natural waist, we need the waistband to be slightly higher in the front than it is in the rear, because that's how we just keep our bodies neutral on Earth's gravity. And there you go. We talk about drawstrings, how drawstrings affect body mechanics. We don't want to be rotating our whole bodies from our hips. So the slipped lap knot, LAPP, tie that tail end to the center of the body. Then you've got a horizontal waist band, okay? No stretch in clothing. There's a lot of stuff going on, because when I talk about dental work, like I will in this video, I'll say this right now before we get any further into this. If you ever go into a dentist office to have dental work done, make sure you have your body centered, okay? Clothing fitting you correct, shoes laced and tied correct. I'll talk about it here in a second, okay? Make sure you are centered in that dentist chair. Within the clothing you're wearing, make sure your clothing in every aspect of every way you can possibly have it be is centered, okay? The jaw stabilizes the entire body. I'll give a lot of context in here. You have to go into that dentist office within centered clothing. Okay, you have to. I'll give a lot of context here in this video. That's the point of this. Truly. Orthodontist as well. Okay, those are the people who do the braces of the teeth. Dentists are the ones that do like cavity fillings, root canals, those things. Okay, so shoot, let's get into this because this is crazy. We talked about pants. Tops have seams on top of our shoulders. They need to sit evenly behind the peak of the shoulders. Our shoulders just connect to our body behind our head. That's just where they work mechanically, and our shoulders follow shoulder seams. The edges of our tops have seams that need to mesh as close as we can get right to the edges of our shoulders. That's just where the functionality of the shoulder joint is. It's a joint of material and the joint of the shoulder, okay, bones to bones. Two things we have as prerequisites under In the Image Clothing Company to not alter the body. Firstly, shoe laces. There's just one way we can shape a weave of a rope across the top of all that's going on in the mechanics of the human feet. Bones, tendons, muscles, and ligaments gripping arches inward, opposing the center line and keeping us vertical on Earth's gravity. Okay? That's what we title In the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. There's only one way the human feet could ever do anything. There's only one way the human body in all aspects of it could ever work. Unaltered. Okay? There's a lot of things that alter the body. We tie shoes as well. We need to tie shoes evenly over toward the center line of the body. There's just two sides to the body. There's a lot of things that alter the body if we're not intentional, is what I mean, right? Just to clarify. Secondly, to shoelacing, shout out to the seagull, we remove all tags from clothing as our second other prerequisite to the first one, okay? Anywhere a tag's placed in clothing, it's like stretch, something that's just decades old only as of today's date. And tags either cause a physical gap, changing the body's only working position, and or they just don't allow musculature to activate, and then the body's trying to do compensation for lack of activation of musculature. And then it's just damaging the body because everything has a role to play and it just has to be allowed to. You can't make up for something else not doing its role with something else not doing its role. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Let's get into this. Golly. Dental work. Teeth. Braces. So we talk about the jaw. There's a lot of videos we have about the jaw. The mechanics of the human jaw. Workouts don't help the jaw. How clothing affects speaking. Oversized clothing makes life hard. Capitalized, all the letters in the word hard there. These are videos under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company, and we just talk about the jaw so often. The importance of even nostrils. The importance of even ears. These are videos we have under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. Yeah, the body has to stay centered, and the jaw, as you can see when I do this, has musculature coming from the shoulder up to the jaw. There's the sternocleidomastoid muscle coming up, just barely clearing the rear of the lower jaw bone and connecting to the base of the skull behind the ears on both sides. Okay, the importance of even sternocleidomastoid insertions, a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. There's a lot going on in and around the jaw. The jaw is stabilizing the entire body. Eating and drinking with the left hand. Okay, really just meaning non-dominant hand. A video we have under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. The big thing with the jaw is it's affected by everything from the feet up, from the fingertips up, from the tip of the head down. The jaw goes into breathing, the jaw goes into eating, speaking, but then again, just stabilization for everything we ever do in our lives, okay? The jaw, it's massive. When we get braces on our teeth, that's directly changing our jaw's position. That's the point of braces. Not necessarily to move the jaw, but to change the position of the teeth. And so this is the thing. When we talk about eating and drinking with the left hand, or just non-dominant, when we eat food, our teeth just wear down. They just do. When we chew things, right, friction just wears down the teeth, because you're taking your top teeth and grinding is something between those and your bottom teeth, okay? And over time, your teeth will just wear down. If we're almost always eating with one side of our body, our head off to one side of our body, our lower jaw bone off to one side of our body, the lower jaw bone starts here up at the top of the ears, okay, as you can see, and it comes down right in front of the ears. It comes around like this and out. It's our chin. That's the lower jaw bone. And up here on the top, it comes in and it kind of comes up where these cheekbones are, and then it comes down again. And then it's just where the lower teeth are connected into. Okay. So, yeah. The lower jawbone, man. All it is, you know, when we're talking about it for the sake of the teeth, is the location where the lower teeth go into. It's just a bone, and the teeth, the lower ones connect into there. The upper teeth connect into the skull, and then this lower jawbone can move. Okay? The ears, as I say often, where I do, you know, they're just a hole between the lower jawbone and the skull back here. Okay? So we talk about the importance of even ears. Okay? And a lot of things in modern day that are really altering the ears that we just didn't have in the past. Things we stick into our ears, stretchy clothing affects our ears, right? And just everything from our feet up as well. So the jaw needs to stay centered. And so what might sound good is, let's put braces on our teeth to get our teeth to just be in this really evenly shaped U shape, right? From braces. And they have braces nowadays that aren't just those little metal wires, but they have clear ones, because we have plastic. Again, things we didn't have in the past, they have nowadays, and it changes the way that things can happen in our lives. And it actually makes it so that a lot of things can damage us potentially that they couldn't have possibly in the past either, though. Even though there's good things from a lot of the things we have nowadays that are new, there's also a lot of potentially damaging things that can come, okay? And so the big thing is, with the teeth getting forced to be in this U shape, is the teeth can accommodate for each other if they need to, kind of move, you know, to mesh with the tooth above them or the tooth below them, okay? But the teeth can't really accommodate for anything else in there. If you get cavity material, cavity filling material is what I mean, placed into your teeth can't really accommodate for that, because it's a foreign object, a foreign body, if you will, placed into your human body, which is the only thing that we have. A video, as well as an audio form only episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast. The title is "The Only Thing That We Have Is Our Human Bodies." And we have to have our teeth be able to just do what they do. And really the big thing is not have our teeth altering the rest of our bodies. One of the biggest focuses about the teeth is what they do to the position of the jaw, okay? Because the jaw is stabilizing our whole body. So when we have braces, it can actually be very damaging, even if they cause our teeth to be nicely aligned in this like U shape, okay? Man, this is big, because we talk about what affects the position of the jaw. You know, keeping collars centered, like I say, the importance of even short sleeves, just tops fitting us correct. In the Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification. Yeah, you know, just the feet being able to be even, because if our feet are uneven, our jaw stabilizing our entire body will move off to one side, right? Depending on what our feet are doing, because the jaw is in the center line of the body, and so it'll stay over our center of gravity. And if our feet are being rotated by just discrepancies in feet tying, right? Shoelaces tied with a right-handed knot on both feet in this right-handed world, the right side of the body just gets pulled away just because it's a rope with one side over the other, and it's just rotating the body, right? So we tie shoes evenly over toward the center line. I wasn't doing that till I was 24 years old. Okay, it's just one side of a rope over the other side of a rope. So it has to come to the center line of the body. And then drawstrings, the same thing. You know, that's what I mean when we go into the office of a dentistry or an orthodontist and we sit in that chair and they're going to do work on our teeth. We have to have our shoes tied evenly, laced within the Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique. Nothing to do with us, but just the only way the human feet mechanically are shaped and could ever possibly work, designed by God. You know, we're just placing ropes on them, weaving a pattern that has to accommodate for the shape of the top of the foot, the height of a gripped arch. A video we have under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Always stop laces at ankle flexion. A video we have under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. The importance of even ankle flexion. Another video that we have under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. These things will travel from our feet up to our jaw, that's stabilizing our entire body. Okay, so the big problem is, yeah, if we have our bodies in chronic patterning, again, what we get out of under In The Image Clothing Company with all the information we give on the anatomy of the human body and how to allow it to work, we give so much free information, so many free modifications, and just teach truth about the human being, the universal human design, you know, God's creation in his image, us, his sons and daughters, human beings. And, you know, let's say you've got your body into patterning where you've been wearing oversized tops and they're falling to your dominant side, or you just have a dreaded collar seam and it's just causing your collar to be pulling on the musculature of your neck, imbalanced, that's going up into your jaw. That's what's connecting your head to your neck and your jaw to your neck, is that musculature that's going through the center of the collar of our tops. And so let's say we have this happening for years and we're in this chronic patterning, and then we go to a dentistry or an orthodontist and, well, for this sake, braces from the orthodontist get put on our teeth. This U shape that this wire is shaped into, or that these plastic clear retainer type braces for our teeth are shaped into, is placed in our mouth. But our bodies, from things like our shoulders, okay, look at this. I mean, look at the visual of the musculature going through my neck from my uneven shoulders if my top is oversized, or if my collar is pulling on my neck of the collar of my top. Like, look at this musculature, okay? There's only one center line to the human body. There's only one neutral position to everything in the human body. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Okay? In The Image Clothing Company. This is what we do. I'm here for life. Check this out. This is big because it's huge, and that's why it's massive. So, braces. If we have our jaw chronically off to one side, Let's say we've been tying our drawstrings with one side of the rope over the other side in a right-handed knot, and our hips are just twisted, and our whole body's like off to the right with the external rotation and farther away from our body on the right, and musculature is just being pulled on. So our jaw's being pulled off to the right like this, and then we've been chewing and eating food with our right hand. You know, maybe shoes are also tied to the right on both feet. Maybe your oversized tops are just that oversized, and then gravity will just pull them down with the play in the shoulders to your right side and pull on your musculature. Tops are like a cage for the shoulders. Okay, they should just lock the shoulders in place and have no play side to side. That's a video we have under the main site of In The Image Clothing Company. Tops are like a cage for the shoulders. So in the cases of any of these things, and any and all and everything that could be possibly imbalanced in our clothing and clothing patterns just being shipped across the whole earth nowadays, they're almost always imbalanced to some degree in modern 2025. That's just how it is. Yeah, like In The Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification. Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on in clothing that's just imbalanced. And it goes directly to your body because it's placed directly on your body, just hanging on you with Earth's gravity. Okay, truly the only fix to human beings' physical problem. Not a claim, it'd be the exact same thing. I could discuss it the exact same way, and I would, even if we didn't have a clothing company. Okay? Man, it's noisy. That's fine. I'm just addressing it. I understand that it is noisy out here. Man, this is huge, okay? So braces, we can't have our teeth be worn different heights from just almost always chewing and eating on one side of our body, and then having our braces try to get our teeth to be in this perfectly even shaped U, when our body just needs to be able to accommodate for itself. Okay, so what happens is braces normally get placed on people's teeth somewhere in their early teenage years, 10 to mid-teenage years, maybe into the late teenage years, give or take. Okay, and you can get them at any time in life, but it's usually right when you've lost all or just about all of your baby teeth, right? Those first sets of teeth we have that come out usually in those years, somewhere between, you know, around 10 years old to early teens. We've around that time usually as human beings lost all of our baby teeth, and then our full-grown adult teeth that stay with us for life come in at that point. So that's normally when they'll put braces on, and this is a problem. They do it to intend on it being a good thing, because then as you're growing and maturing, you have these braces holding your teeth into an aligned position, but the human body has to be able to accommodate for itself. It cannot accommodate for anything else that's not itself, anything unnatural, anything man-made, okay? The body's natural. Natural, neutral, normal are synonyms within the human body, and the goal under In The Image Clothing Company in all four sides is natural, okay? So, our braces, they'll actually force our teeth to be in a position that is just in correlation with the tooth right next to them. It's not anything to do with the jaw's positioning. Braces just take one tooth, connect it to the tooth next to it, and the tooth next to it, and the tooth next to it, and all the teeth next to each other will just have to be forced to go into this position of whatever the wire or the braces, that, you know, the clear ones, whatever it is shaped as. But our jaw needs to be in the center of our body, over Earth's center of gravity, and if our teeth are just worn down differently, then you can mesh them all centered and actually force your jaw to be uncentered, okay? It is so noisy. It's ridiculous. So, what's intended on being a really good thing can actually really damage our bodies by having braces on our teeth. It's ridiculously noisy. It gets noisier when I start filming these videos. I'm not kidding. I mean, I have no like proof of that, but it does. This plane just looped around. It was flying that way, and it looped around, and now it's coming back. I'm not kidding. You might have seen it if you saw it coming this way before it went over there. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. As a testament, like I say, I mean, that's what I'm doing at this time period, is just getting these videos out, as I said toward the beginning of this, regardless of if it's kind of hard to hear or whatever. It's about the information and documenting it as of today's date, whenever that is, for any of these videos. Just so, you know, the congruency of, we have been saying the same things and have had the same understanding since the very start of all of this. This is ridiculous, though. It's fine. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, certainly crazy. So, you know, I had a root canal. There's an episode of In the Image Clothing Company podcast titled The Root Canal Story. My front left tooth, I had a root canal on it when I was 13 years old. Holy 13s. Man, that number's been coming up so much lately. And then the filling that they put there after doing the root canal did not get finished at all. It didn't get ground down. There's been so much excess filling material there for over 10 years. Like 13 years, actually, of my life. Ridiculous. So many things are ridiculous right now, in a good way. It's very strange. Very, very strange. Today's the 15th of October, 2025. I know I said it, but just, it's strange. It's very strange where I'm at with all this right now. It's awesome. Very awesome. It's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. If we have filling material in our teeth, not allowing our teeth to just mesh how they naturally mesh anyway, they're already altered. And then if we have braces being put on our teeth, forcing our teeth to be into this position of this quote unquote perfectly shaped U, well, our teeth won't just naturally move to where they need to allow the body to stay centered. So braces can seem like a really great thing, but they can actually force our bodies to get into a chronic patterning, even if your teeth become extremely centered looking, right, and aligned. And sure, I mean, I've got an aligned teeth bite, and that's from my braces. In the ways that it is, certainly. I mean, that's the point. That's why we get braces on the teeth. But you know, I've also had to do so much work to get my jaw centered, because I was within oversized clothing and unbalanced drawstring knots tied over toward the right side, and shoes both tied to the right side, back when I got my braces. So even though my teeth got centered, the reason I said that word like that is because really the word is aligned. Even though my teeth got aligned with my jaw in a misalignment. You have a fairly perfect, just about U of the top teeth row, and a fairly perfect, just about row of a U for the bottom teeth as well. And you can mesh that with your jaw uncentered, right? So you can open and close your mouth off to the right side of your body with your lower jawbone, and have your whole top row of teeth shifted off to the right in your skull, and your whole bottom row of teeth, really just your entire jawbone, shifted off to the right. But then have it mesh well, all the teeth together. Yet, from your foundation at your feet, you've got knots of ropes right-handed on both feet, pulling your right side off to the right side of your body's actual center line. And then you've got now your jaw stabilizing over your body's center line. And even though your teeth are aligned next to each other, your lower jaw is off to your right, and then your upper teeth and this part of your skull has had to move off to the right as well. And you can see this. You can look at people's jaw when they open it to the right like this, rather than being centered. It's coming from their shoulders, it's coming from their feet, it's coming from maybe your different sized hands, and maybe it's coming from your braces that have forced the bones of your body, especially in these years of life where we're still growing, in our teenage years where it's most common for people to get braces on their teeth. I just spit. And then their skull and their jawbone of the lower jaw actually grow imbalanced because the braces have forced their teeth to align while their feet are tied unevenly with ropes and just knots with one side over the other, okay? Or their waist band with a drawstring or things in their pockets, or just rotated seams in clothing, or oversized clothing to where their shoulders and the musculature there is pulling on their jaw off to one side, almost always going to be the right in a right-handed world, which we all live in a modern 2025 and going forth, and even up until today's date as well, before now. So this is how it is, right? Is braces can be extremely damaging to the entire body, even if they align your teeth, okay? The importance of even nostrils, like I said, look at a deviated septum. The septum is the center part of the nose, and it can get very off-centered or deviated if our teeth are being forced to mesh off to the side because of things in our body nowhere near our teeth being misaligned, and then our teeth being forced to align with each other. When our jaw stabilizes our whole body, our jaw is our teeth over Earth's center of gravity, and the rest of our bodies not over Earth's center of gravity. So neither is the jaw. And that's what I mean with the video workouts don't help the jaw is, well, the jaw is stabilizing the entire body, and if you work out any part of your body at all, and any part of your body at all is not centered, your jaw will be trying to stabilize, and it's not meshing with other parts of your body. I guess this is where I'll cut this. This is ridiculous. I'm not upset at anybody. I mean, these people are just doing their job. The airplane is just flying, and I'm next to a road. I understand, but this does not happen to the degree that it is happening when I film these videos. I click record, and then hell breaks loose. Truly, and it's fine. I'm genuinely, legitimately not upset at people. It's just at the situation. It's crazy. It really is a testament to the warfare, to speaking truth and it not wanting to be able to be heard by Satan himself. I mean, this is real. It's not me trying to make some kind of like silly claim or something. I mean, this is really how life is. You know, I'm in this for life, and this information, like I'm saying, is something I will always talk about forever. I'm here. Do you see what I mean? This is ridiculous. I'm here for life, and you know what's funny about this? I film videos in different locations. It's usually in this similar area, but it's in different parts of this area, different fields here, and this stuff will happen right next to me and not in other locations when I'm filming these videos. It's as real as it gets, dude. Another plane. The same one, as far as I can tell. It's just turning. It's as real as it gets. The point with what I'm saying about I'm in this for life, and these videos don't have to be any kind of like professional. It's just for the sake of documenting the information, just so that it is there with a date mark. You know, you can tell who and how I am at this date. I can't try to make it up saying, I was saying these things at the very founding, when it's like 30 years down the road and I maybe stole somebody else's information, right? In the Image Clothing Company, that's the whole thing about it with the blunt, bold, raw, and real. We speak out of personal experience, personal understanding of things. I've come to the understanding of all of what I have founded in the Image Clothing Company to be through personal experience, prayer and revelation, trial and error. This is ridiculous. It's a testament. It's a testimony. That's what I mean. It's truly, this is as real as it gets. And this is the hard part about it. When you speak truth, it's truth, man. I mean, I can't make it up, you know? First of all, I can't make up the stuff that I'm talking about and the reality of it, because I discuss it in such depth to where there's no possible dispute. But then also, you can't make up this kind of like situation. All the noise, I can't try to claim that it's just not this noisy normally. I mean, what? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. And I know that I'm just standing here yelling at a camera on a fence. I get it, but it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's like a war zone out here. And I'm talking about teeth braces in a baseball field. Anyway, so it's crazy. This is crazy. It's crazy. Stick around for the poodles. You know, we talk about the same things with dogs, just the jaw of the dog. It stabilizes their entire body as well. It got louder as I started talking again. It didn't even get closer. I don't understand what's going on. Holy cow. But anyway, we talk about feeding for dogs, proper heights of feeding dogs, you know, a lot of things to just not let the dogs get altered. In other words, let the dogs stay natural. We talk about human beings eating and drinking, you know, like I'm saying, not only with the left hand, but in a centered position. As I made it very clear, I'll just reiterate, anytime you ever go into a dentistry or an orthodontist, always keep your clothing centered when you're in there. Keep your body centered as well while you're laying there and they're working on your teeth. You don't want to be like uncentered when you have your mouth open and they're working on your teeth, because then that will permanently travel into the rest of your life. It's getting louder. It's absurd. Anyway, so this is as real as it gets, as you can tell. Yeah, it's nuts. So there you go. Okay. Crazy. Yeah. And the point is, you know, it's the same thing, no matter who it is, no matter the time period. It'll always apply the exact same. All the information we give here under In the Image Clothing Company, well, that is eternal truths, right? I mean, not that we say anything perfectly. There's a bug that was in my ear. What is going on? Do you see what I mean? I mean, I don't talk about a lot of what goes on behind the scenes trying to get these videos out, trying to be the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. It's this type of crazy that happens so often when I am approaching In The Image Clothing Company. It's just crazy because of the magnitude of the truth behind this. You know, it's like you kind of gotta earn it in a sense. I have to work through it. I have to like prove that I can do it, if you will. And you'll see again, just as time progresses, just the truth of all this. It's ridiculous. So it's the 15th of October, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. Stick around for Poodles. The gift of video. We'll always have cool stuff, dude. Good products, fun things we do. Involve yourself. That's an episode of In The Image Clothing Company podcast. It's titled Involve Yourself. You know, we have events. If you are here in the state of Utah or you'd like to come, just check scheduling on InTheImageClothingCompany.com. That's where the products will always be. That's where the poodle puppies will always be. There will always be a strict screening process with an application you can fill out if you'd like a puppy from us when the litters come to us, as I just said, right? So, fresh snow on the mountains. You know, I talk about we get snow here in the winter. It's a desert, the state of Utah, the United States of America, but we get the greatest snow on earth, so our license plates say. Snow. Since yesterday. Same plane. Looped back around again. Okay, thank you. And thank you. We'll talk about it. I'm here for life. But the teeth, you know, the jaw is huge, but the jaw is also the teeth. In all aspects of what that means, they connect into the jaw. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Clarification, I'm truly not mad. I know I say it, right? I yell often. I'm upset that it's so ridiculously hard to just speak over this, but I get it. I understand why. And it's just crazy, man. It's just nuts. So I'm just gonna let it roll for at least a second longer. So just for the testimony of when I talk about all that I've had to go through in the past little while of my life to get to where I am, physically and in the way that my body works, you know, founding In The Image Clothing Company, just all the warfare and the craziness that I've had to go through to really follow God's will and do what I'm doing here. This is what I'm talking about. Regardless of what location I choose to film or what time of day I choose to film, regardless of if I'm inside or outside, doing anything on any four sides of In The Image Clothing Company, this is how it is. When you're doing what you're supposed to, it's like you've got some stuff that you come up against. It's a testing, a trial period, you know, a proving, if you will, of can you actually do this and fight through the nuts. In other words, the crazy, you know. Darn, man. Anyway, my job personally has had to move off back to the left side, meaning just closer to the center than being chronically stuck on the right side, because I've had, you know, that root canal and that filling material was in the way, and then I had braces. I mean, it's like a war zone. It's so abstract. The noise out here. Pretty sure I heard sirens. That's why I stopped speaking then. But I had braces in this time of having this root canal filling material just really all... What is that? Really altering the position of my jaw already, And then the braces forced my teeth to try to align with this, excess filling material, not even allowing my front teeth to get anywhere near close to like being able to touch at that time. So again, it's just a testament of the truth of it, because you can see documented under, as I say, the gift of video, my body, Evan Strong, as the founder, physically transformed truly to where it is at current day of whenever that is, when you're looking at any content of, well, not only necessarily just in the Image Clothing Company, but just me, Evan Strong. The way I've allowed my body to get to where it is at again, current day. What is this noise? I mean, it's like a call. Do you hear that? This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. But yeah, through the truth of what we talk about under In the Image Clothing Company's main side, that's how I have gotten my body to where it is from where it was. And you can see, as I've said, God had me found in the Image Clothing Company at the time that he did, to where this is crazy, to where I could document under the gift of video the actual physical transformation of my body to be the visual example, and I show things out of example, not just like I'm reading from some book. One of those things is the dental work, the teeth braces, and not only them themselves, but how clothing patterns and imbalances really alter the body and go straight to the jaw. Because the big thing is, a lot of people will have naturally centered teeth, people who have been tying their shoes evenly since birth, and wearing clothing that fits them correct since birth. You'll notice people's teeth misalignment correlating with the type of clothing or shoes, like footwear, that they do wear. You notice it. And their lifestyle choices as well, their fingernails, the ways they eat, certain things like this. You just notice, I mean, all your teeth really are is, what is this sound? All your teeth really are is just where your jaw touches, where your lower jaw touches your skull, which we could call the upper jaw. That's just your teeth, And so braces are specifically for the teeth, but then they directly just affect the jaw. And then that goes to the whole body, and then vice versa, okay? I love this because this is one of those like stories like you couldn't make up, and people wouldn't even believe you if it wasn't recorded, Like the sounds in this are sounds I've never even heard in my life. I don't even know what's happening exactly. Do you see what I mean? It's very strange. Very weird. So anyway, I know that I am as well. Very strange and very weird. Unorthodox and untraditional. It's like a fishing hole. You just take a cast and you never know what you're gonna get. Mountains look pretty though, with the sun on them, with the snow freshly fallen on them yesterday. So just listen to this if you would. doesn't get more real, dude. When I say it's as real as it gets, yeah, I'm not kidding. Okay? I mean, it's crazy. I'm on day 10 of 50 push-ups a day for 30 days just to see what happens. Really, a lot of it's to see what happens once I stop doing the push-ups, because the human body is only normal. You know, my body will just go back to how it was from any muscle mass that I do gain within 30 days. And it's actually really turned into 5 sets of push-ups every day for 30 days. I haven't been able to even get to 50 by doing 10 at a time for each of the 5 sets for a lot of these days. You know, it's a little bit more than I thought it would be. I guess just for context, I have gained size, muscle mass, you know, hypertrophy, and it happens, you know. That's the point. Like I'm saying, is showing that it just you can gain muscle. When I say you can't train the human body, I don't mean you can't gain muscle. I don't mean you can't get better at doing something physically, but there's just a neutral position to everything in the body. Man, weird. I love the mountains so much. Poodle parade events. The bulk of what we do under In The Image Clothing Company, as the 4 sides that we are, that comes through In The Image Clothing Company Poodles as just one of our 4, this will be just huge. Okay, we yeah, I mean, there's a reason I say it so much and have been saying it so much before I even have a single purebred standard poodle of my own as the founder of In The Image Clothing Company. Look, now the camera's shaking. I don't even think it was doing that before with the same amount of wind. So just stick around for the poodles. Thank you.